We are lucky to have Ruth Schowalter here with us today to give her talk, The Great Dance, Freedom, Belonging, and the Sovereignty of the Soul. Ruth is an artist, educator, dance chaplain, certified interplay leader, art of ensoulment coach, and lifelong student of what it means to be fully human. For more than 2 decades, she taught English to international students at the Georgia Tech Language Institute using movement, storytelling, and improvisation. She believes the body is not separate from spiritual life, but one of its primary teachers. She co-founded Interplay Sustaining International Sisters, acronym SIS, in which women from around the world discover friendship, belonging, and hope through improvisational play and shared meals. She is the illustrator of the book, The Great Dance, published in May, and she leads an online dance chapel. Please help me welcome Ruth Schowalter.
Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you for inviting me here today. This church has a very special place in my life. It's where I did my first art exhibit back, in 2001, maybe earlier. And I got married here with my husband, Tony Martin. This also is an opportunity for me to really launch The Great Dance. We've had it out, we've done online celebrations. I even read it at, Tony, was it the Geek Bookstore? And
Offbeat Books.
Offbeat Books. And it's in South Atlanta? Yeah. But this is the first time for me to really talk about the great dance and my great dance and how it has become a profound part of my life. And I hope I can give you a sense of it. You see the book there, right there. But because of the work that I do, I would like to invite you to get into our bodies. And you may follow my directions. You can adapt what I ask you to do to fit your body, or you can just watch some of us doing what we're doing. Let's practice CPR for the soul. CPR for the soul is create, play, rest. Right? So you're invited to listen to your body, spirit, and decide what is right for you. Do you want to create, play, or rest? Also, I never get being tired of being told that I am enough. And I would like to tell you here today that you are enough. And what we do here together today is enough. Right? So first I'd like to invite you to breathe. And in Interplay, we do something called BIBO, breathe in, breathe out, but you're invited to breathe out with an audible sigh. So you want to try that? Breathe in, breathe out, and a sigh that everybody can hear. Okay, ready? Let's go. Good, so let's do that again, and maybe you can squirm a little, squirm the sigh out, so we go. Great, you guys are advanced, so I think you can do the next one. So we're going to breathe in, and we're going to throw the sigh out. Just throw the sigh out, and you can even envision where you want that sigh to go, right? It's like lifting up the sigh, or it could be like throwing the sigh like a baseball. But let's, try it if you'd like. Let's go. Great, and if you only use one hand, I invite you to try to use the other hand, or you can use both. Let's do one more. Great, so now that you've got your hands going, I invite you to shake one hand, shake the other hand, shake a foot, shake the other foot, and if you'd like to stand up, or you can do it where you're seated, shake what you're sitting on. Good, and shake your whole body. And give yourself a hug, and pat yourself for getting here today. Yay, you. And you can sit down now. So today my themes are freedom, belonging, and the sovereignty of the soul. We'll be exploring two overlapping timelines, my very human life and that of Earth's deep time. 4.5 billion years in the making. I am offering the poem The Great Dance by Cynthia Whitten Henry and my illuminations of this poem to our recently published intergenerational book of the same name, to explore how the dance of life is part of a vast and infinite universe. Before I go on, I just want to say that my dance practice with body and soul comes from two sources. Interplay is a 35-year-old improvisational system. Simply stated, we say interplay is an active, creative way to unlock the wisdom of your body. Then second, the art of ensoulment is a system of 4 beloved practices and 3 directives on how to cultivate the embodied soul. A beloved person in my life and practice is Cynthia Whitten Henry, the poet of The Great Dance. Cynthia is co-founder of Interplay and the creator of the art of ensoulment. I am trained in both systems and have danced beside Cynthia for more than 10 years now. So today, I am grateful to speak to you about our book because it gives me the opportunity to deepen my understanding that The Great Dance is more than a book. It is a seed of a global movement, offering hope in very difficult times. The Great Dance lives at the intersection of our freedom, our sense of belonging, our individual dignity, and the courage to create a meaningful life in our communities. These are not abstract ideas for me. I have lived them and experienced them through my body, what I call my embodied soul. So before my husband supports me in reading the poem to you, I'm going to invite you to experience where your soul resides in your body. I know that sounds silly, but when I was asked to do it, it engaged my kinesthetic imagination. So I began tapping my shoulder. Does my soul reside here? You can follow me, just kind of help you start kind of checking in. Does my soul or spirit, is it here? Is it in my stomach? Maybe it's in my knee. But just for a while, just breathe in, breathe out, see where your soul might be. Oh, maybe it's here. Right? Is anybody finding one? Maybe finding your soul? How about if you take your hands, and does your soul kind of, does it exist beyond your physical body? Is it right here? I always said as a child I didn't like to wear a hat because there was light coming out of my head. I could just feel it. So I kind of feel it. In fact, I invite you to use again your kinesthetic imagination and see if what you feel as your spirit or your soul kind of goes up through the roof and out into heaven. And just right now, kind of move in body and soul. Just what does your body want to do? Does it want to wiggle or shake? Does it want to adjust your feet? Oh, I see Panton. I think he's doing something with his ears. That's intriguing. Well, let me just check in. Where are you experiencing soul in body? Anybody? Anybody want to say anything? Right, Jan? Right here. Anybody else have an experience, a physical experience of soul? Abdomen. Good. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to invite Tony in a minute to read. But first I want to say that I don't call my work illustrations. In fact, in my bio I had put that I am the illuminator. And I just want to say, I've been making art for almost 40 years, and dancing with Interplay and Art of Ensoulment for almost 15. Cynthia's poem has been percolating in my body, my dance, because I do a lot of it, a lot of movement, and playing with the spirit, embodied spirit, for 4 years. So what happened to these images over the time that I was working with them is that they began to expand the meaning of Cynthia's poem. It expanded, created new meaning, and she honored with me with the description of calling me the illuminator. They're illuminations. So as Tony, wave your hand, Tony. As he reads the poem, I invite you to listen and look. Notice what catches your attention. Maybe it's a word or phrase, maybe it's an image, or just something is resonating with you. So just kind of, a little active kind of like, what's resonating with me? What I like is a word or phrase. Okay? Thank you, Tony.
The Great Dance. In the beginning was the great dance, and in this dance was the energy of life. Contracting, expanding, contracting, expanding, creating millions of ways to move and be moved. The Great Dance was a dance so great and far and wide that whole planets and stars and solar systems joined in, twirling and spinning and circling round. From this whirling circle, Earth's spirit moved, as did her trees and mountains and rivers and beasts. And even the smallest of beings, the teeny insects and pebbles, each and every one moving and changing and dancing their own splendid dance. And each dance was a sacred dance, the flowing dances, the jagged dances, jumpy dances, and smooth ones. Some dances just as fast as a wink, and some as slow as the night is long. Of course, there were many, many falling down and getting up dances. And some dances were quiet for so long that you might mistake them for non-dances. And do you know that even before your birth, in your mother's womb, the dance came alive in your skin and breath and bone till you, too, became part of the great dance. And yours is no ordinary dance. In all the world, no two dances are alike. One Beatles dance is different than his brothers. And North Wind's dance, it can't be compared to Sister South Wind's. Each dance is like no other, and this is why it is sacred. No one can dance your dance. It is sacred. Earth Spirit's power depends on each sacred dance. Without you, the great dance dwindles, grows dull. But when every being joins in the great dance, amazing, glorious, astonishing grace, energy, and life abound, just because each dancer is doing their own joyous dance. Today, like every other day, the great dance needs you. In all of creation, all plants, stars, trees and mountains and beasts, oceans and deserts, insects and humans, to join in the dance. If you listen to your body spirit, you can hear the great dance sing. Dance, dance each morning, and dance each day, and at night I will dance in your dreams. For we are the dance. I dance in you, you dance in me, the dance that is forever. Bless you, my dancing one.
Thank you, Tony. So I invite you to breathe in and breathe out with an audible sigh. Just breathe in, breathe out. Give your body a little shake. What did you notice? Yeah, did you notice any words or phrases or images? Can you just share if you noticed something or something resonated with you?
I just noticed how beautiful those illustrations were. Same.
Thank you.
Actually, I love this, that how the DNA is dancing.
Okay, so you noticed the DNA. Okay, great. Great.
Some of the exercises, what you're doing is we do that in our exercise classes, so it's universal.
Oh, great. Okay, it's universal.
Yeah, actually, like that yawning and sighing on the out breath, I teach that to my students.
Oh, that's great.
It
So,
relaxes the voice.
right, our bodies, that's what we have in common, is universal, is our bodies, right? Great. So I want you, if you're not shy with somebody you're sitting next to, it's something that we do in interplay where we go back and forth, but this story begins with in the beginning, in the beginning. And so what you would do is you just say one or two, mostly 3 sentences about when did your earth spirit move? When, and it can be something like, in the beginning, I was 4 years old and I was running across the field in Kansas and I was running towards a creek, and when I got there, I leapt and I fell down on the creek bed in the soft sand. So it could be something like that. It could be something mythical, or, when does your earth spirit move? What awakens you? So you would just say to your partner, can you look around? Do you have somebody to just talk to and say, in the beginning? And you say something, and then your partner says, yeah, in the beginning. So you're not responding to what your partner's saying. You're just listening, and then you're telling you're in the beginning. You ready? And go.
Since your beginning was before my beginning.
In the beginning, I always wanted children.
That's your earliest memory.
Many years later, I realized
In the beginning, I remember being out in front of 1528 and finding myself in the middle of a dog fight. And I think maybe Daddy coming out to try to get me away from the dogs and having some sort of fight in my head. That was around 3-ish.
in the beginning, I remember.
Did you find your time to share in the beginning story? In the beginning? I'll be back. Great. And I would just would 1 or 2 people like to share their beginning story? In the beginning? So what we do in my groups is we go waterfall. Would anybody like to share in the beginning, just your story in the beginning?
There's politics in the world.
Okay, maybe it's kind of a private thing.
The spirit.
Okay, so we say the spirit is a shy thing, and so it's good that you were able to share with your partner. So I'm gonna go on. Let's go ahead and breathe in, breathe out. Great. So, what does the word great mean in the great dance? And I wanted to think about this. Being great in the dance doesn't mean being impressive. The great dance is not about performance. It's about our belonging. We are not trying to dance greatly. We are learning to understand that we are being danced by something bigger than our individual selves. Great, in this context, means a spaciousness that is large enough to hold every small step and every ordinary breath. The great dance isn't something we achieve. It is a living mystery we already belong to. We are the dance. We are the dance. And it is in knowing we are the dance that we can find freedom. But I want to tell you, are you interested in learning something about my life? Because I have some to tell you. Because I began in a family in a non-dancing world. We have no rhythm. I heard this declaration repeatedly while I was growing up, and explained why my military family did not dance. Instead, we marched to orders. We underwent my father's inspections for bed making, car washing, and other household duties. I helped serve dinner at 6:15 every night, no earlier, no later. None of our individual needs were considered. To learn social graces and etiquette, my 12-year-old body was enrolled in cotillion while we lived in McLean, Virginia. For 2 years, I was pushed around the ballroom floor with a boy's hand pressing my back, guiding me. I was taught to cross my legs at my ankles, and to place my hands demurely in my lap. I was taught to please and serve. In 1972, when we moved to Fort Benning, Georgia, the largest military reservation in the United States, I learned that my 14-year-old female body was no longer safe. I could not comfortably ride my bike alone or venture into the woods, as my body shifted from being a child to a young woman. Wolf whistles followed me everywhere. Young men with shaved heads traveled in packs across the base, training to be paratroopers or rangers. My body was constantly under surveillance and did not feel like my own. The Vietnam War was ongoing. I lived with hawks. Our windows rattled from artillery practice. Inside there was no contemporary music allowed, no Beatles, no rock and roll. There was no dancing. As school teenage boys nicknamed me Too Tall Schowalter at 5'10", I felt out of proportion and out of place. Needless to say, I did not attend school dances. Again and again, I learned to keep my body from dancing. It is no surprise that when I graduated from high school and left the military base, I went to a Church of Christ college, Pepperdine University. In the 1970s, prohibited dancing. You could get suspended or expelled. So no dancing allowed, and that was not a problem for me because I had no rhythm. And I had become a very serious person. And that was in 1980 when I graduated. So jumping forward decades from the time I graduated in 1980, it wasn't until I was in my 40s when I became conscious of the understanding of the great dance, and it still was not through dancing or moving. The great dance began to mature in me when I met and married Tony Martin, who's sitting here at the front. I call him an ecstatic paleontologist. An ecstatic, he's super enthusiastic about fossils. I was already a nature lover, but my love of nature became informed by the knowledge of Earth's evolution, what I am calling here deep time. My first experience with the concept of deep time was when early in our dating relationship, Tony was late by 30 minutes. And he said, "What's a half hour in the context of geological time?" I was intrigued. I was. So Tony interprets animal behavior recorded in stone from millions of years ago. You might call him a behavioralist paleontologist. So together we have walked ancient landscapes across North and South America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. While standing in these rocky vistas, I experienced the unbroken lineage of life. I felt expanded across time, before Earth formed, before oceans breathed, before oxygen made complex life possible. Through my explorations with Tony, I came to understand at a visceral level that I am bone and flesh of the earth. I am Mother Dinosaur and First Bird. I am the White Cliffs of Dover, watching the sea while my eroding body releases skeletons, sleeping for millions of years. Deep time, or the great dance, is not abstract for me. It has become embodied knowledge. It dances through me. So I invite you right now to just shake a little, breathe in, breathe out. Give your body a shake. All right? And if you just rub your palms of your hand and give yourself a little push like that. But you know what? It's even better if you put your palm to someone else's palm and give a little push. And then push a little harder to show that you're really there. Are you really there? Yeah, and let your partner have a little, push there. And then go to neutral. And give yourself a hug again. In fact, you might want to just haven, like stroking your arms. It feels so good to be in the body. And our body, spirits love being soothed. So give it a little shake. Great. So when did I actually begin moving or dancing? And I have to tell you, I'm really uncomfortable calling it dancing because I'm an improviser. So as I began to find freedom. So part of this talk is about freedom. It's about belonging, freedom, and the sovereignty of the soul. It wasn't until I was 50 that I found the Dancing Flowers for Peace. Do any of you know the Dancing Flowers for Peace here in Atlanta? Oh my God, I fell in love with them. And I found some freedom being with them because I could be myself, I could be in my now aging body, and I could move. Also here is where I got to explore the 5 rhythms, and it was a different kind of movement, but also an exploration of the spirit. But it wasn't until I found interplay that I found my home place of being, which really helped me learn how to move more authentically and with myself and with others. So let me see where I am. The more I danced, the more I became myself. I learned to trust my body. And improvisational movement became my freedom. And as I danced more, I found more satisfying ways to belong to communities. Is that weird? Dancing and finding the freedom within my own body spirit, I found I could move out into communities and be more comfortable. I actually discovered my own dance, and I started becoming a recovering serious person. Remember, I began to recover from being such a serious person. I found whimsy and joy in being embodied. And even the most profound thing is I was able to bring it into my work at the Language Institute at Georgia Tech, where I taught for more than 25 years. People always thought, they go, oh, you teach grammar. Oh, you teach it. Like it was like a low-level thing. You know what I was teaching at? I was teaching communications at Georgia Tech. My students came from around the world, more than 38 different countries. Many of them were brilliant scientists, engineers, scholars, doing research in a second or third language. They had spent years learning how to be serious people. So they arrived in the southeastern United States and discovered that communications in English wasn't only about vocabulary and grammar. It was about the body. How close do I stand to someone? How much eye contact do I make? How loudly do I speak? How fast? What does my face do? What do I do with my hands? So I began applying the great dance into my teaching by applying interplay principles and activities. We got out of our desk. We moved, we built communities of friends who helped each other solve algorithmic problems, even if he was from El Salvador and the person with the problem was from Italy. We stepped across geographical boundaries. We experimented with unfamiliar gestures and facial expressions. And we played with vocal tones, speeds, and volumes. I watched these international students become more at home in themselves through their bodies. I invited them to expand their experience from being intellectuals to discovering that they could also be body intellectuals. Something important happened in my classroom. My students weren't giving up who they were. They were adding new possibilities. They could remain deeply rooted in their cultures while discovering different ways of communicating in another culture. That really contributed, that teaching experience really contributed to my understanding that belonging does not require sameness. Right? Belonging makes room for difference. Isn't that a very Unitarian principle? Anyway, so during that time, I met a Turkish visiting scholar, and we created Interplay Sustaining International Sisters, and we just call it SIS. And so it's a nonprofit, and we bring women across the metro Atlanta area because a lot of the internationals coming in they want to meet, if I say European American women, or even African American women, they tend to stay clustered in their communities in North Atlanta. And we're very involved with a big Turkish community, and we're moving into the Pakistani and Indian American community. But together, we play, we tell stories, we eat together, sometimes we pray together, we laugh, we struggle, and we learn from one another. And again, I have experienced this truth. I can be the me of me, and you can be the you of you. Claiming our sense of internal authority is what the art of ensoulment calls sovereignty of the soul. Together, you and I can create something larger, something greater. You don't have to become the same in order to belong. In fact, our differences are part of this great, our differences are part of what makes the great dance beautiful. To conclude, to conclude, I'm in awe of the great dance. It is more than a simple metaphor for life. Stars are moving. Planets are moving. Our cells are moving. All the cells around us and the plants and creatures are moving. Our breath is moving. The earth is moving. We are moving. All of this movement has been happening for a really, really long time. And even when we are still, we are participating in the extraordinary dance of life. So I leave you with these questions. Instead of asking, how do I dance? You might ask, how am I being danced? How am I being danced by earth, the universe? What is already moving through me? What does my body know? What wants to emerge? These questions have been changing my life, and I hope they will yours. Thank you.